But what I want to start off doing is just tell you a little bit about my story, which won't take too long, and then I'll talk a little bit about how I made over $300,000 in about 8-9 months, and how I made $21,000 in about 2 hours. I graduated from chiropractic school about 16 years ago, and I worked pretty hard for the first 12 years of my career. But all I did really in my office was sit in my office and treat patients, and to get patients, all I really did was rely on two strategies. One was the yellow pages, and one was referrals. But in any type of business like that, you've got overhead, you've got staff, and so on and so forth. So probably to cut a long story short, I was probably only taking about $150,000 home at the end of the year, and then of course you've got to pay tax on that, so you're lucky to end up with about $75,000 after that. And the worst thing about it was I was working really, really hard. I was doing about 70 hours a week. I was working a 5.5-day week, and by that stage my wife and I had a couple of kids, and I was just working all the time, and I got quite depressed, and my wife and I, because I was just doing such crazy hours, and we had the little kids, I was sleeping upstairs in this big house upstairs, and she was sleeping downstairs because I was waking up at 5:30 in the morning to get to work at 6:45, and she was sleeping in, and to be honest, our marriage really wasn't going as well as we'd like, to be honest. We weren't going to get divorced, but it certainly wasn't going that well. And I got really depressed, and to the point where I actually started drinking quite a fair bit of alcohol. I decided I was going to change my life, and I was going to research exactly how the most successful chiropractors in the world make the most money. But certainly what I found was that the most successful chiropractors in the world, bar none, and I'm talking about if you measure success by how much money they make, the type of lifestyle they lead, and so on and so forth, they were definitely not the best chiropractors. They were definitely the best marketers of chiropractic. They didn't provide the best service, and so on and so forth, but they were the best marketers. So what I decided to do was become the best chiropractic marketer in Australia. So I researched a whole lot of chiropractic marketing techniques and so on and so forth. And to cut a long story short, my practice grew 309% in 13 months. So I went from my practice went from seeing 200 patients a week to over 620 patients a week. I went from $300,000 up to $1 million. But I went down to 4 days a week, and I went down to 40 hours a week. So I really structured things really well, but I still had to be there pretty much every day, and I was still doing 40 hours a week, and the overheads got bigger, and so on and so forth. And then my wife said to me, you've had one of the most busiest practices in Australia. You should, target yourself at healthcare market. So I decided that I would, and obviously I first started targeting chiropractors because that's the profession that I was in. And the problem was, before, I really couldn't have done this before because I had absolutely nothing to sell them. I had a good practice, a very good practice, one of the best in Australia, but I had nothing to sell them on how to create a really good business, how to create effective marketing strategies. But with the BBI products, all of a sudden I had that, to the point where I've now had my first healthcare practitioners boot camp in Noosa. I ran my own boot camp for chiropractors and healthcare practitioners, and it's not a free boot camp, it's $495 to attend. I marketed the boot camp with direct mail, journals, and follow-up phone calls, and so on and so forth. And my goal was to get 30 healthcare practitioners to the boot camp in Noosa. We ended up getting 43. So, 43 by $495 is not bad for one day's work. But on top of that, we made about $25,000 of actual sales on the day. So, it was about a $50,000 day for us. It was a good day, and it was a good day. And we had a great time. And what we did was we videoed it. I got a professional guy to come in and video the whole event. And now we've sold quite a few of the actual videos of the whole event. So that's pretty much where we are. We've made about, $300,000 in the first 8 or 9